Monday, and I am going to kick this vlog off. It is so nice outside, let me tell you. So crazy. It's like 72 degrees. Last week, the same time on a Monday, was freezing, had a jacket on. This week, I'm sweating. Good old Missouri weather, I guess. I don't know. Stick around. You don't like it, it'll always change. So, for the most part, this week's going to be pretty nice. And then about Friday, it's going to be like 40-something degrees again. Go figure. But, you know, that's how it is. Going to enjoy the nice weather. I stacked some wood since it was nice out. We went grocery shopping. Did that kind of good stuff. Did a little bit of cleaning up. And it's like almost 2 o'clock, so I figured I should come on here and at least tell you what I'm reading this week. So, start off with Good Neighbors by Sarah Langan. This one is a thriller. It's kind of slow-paced right now, so I'm hoping that something cool happens, but I'm pretty sure it revolves around a murder that happened, because there's some newspaper clippings from, like, in the future about this that happened in the neighborhood on, I think it's Maple Street. It's a suburb, and right now there are 2 different families that are not real big friends with each other. Like, they were friends, but, like, now they're not. And you get, like, the POV of the one family, and then sometimes you get the POV of the other family. And it starts out like you have the Wilds, and Gerda Wild, she's like really pretty and skinny, and she was always a beauty pageant person when she was younger, so she's got that beauty pageant wave and things like that. And she had become friends with Rhea Schroeder, and she thought everything was fine with them, and they were even telling each other secrets. But then they were having a party, and she noticed like everybody's going to this party, but they never got an invitation. And so they just decided to crash the party. You know, they're like, well, they're having a party, let's go. Well, this makes like Rhea Schroeder like really, really mad. And you can tell that she didn't, there was a reason she wasn't invited to the party, because she didn't want her there. But like Gerda has no idea why she doesn't like want her there. And then you get like this POV like of Rhea Schroeder, and you kind of find out about her life and everything. And the reason why all of a sudden she doesn't like Gerda, and it's kind of dumb and kind of petty, but there's something like seriously wrong, I think, mentally with Rhea. And anyway, I'm only like 16% into it, so, you know, there's no telling what's going to happen. I'm kind of curious, even though it's a little bit slow. My friend Barb said that she didn't know if I would like this because it might be too slow, but she really enjoyed it, and a part of me is just curious to see why she enjoyed this one so much, so I'll keep plugging around on it and see. This is a library book that I got on Overdrive, so if I'm not feeling it, I can just ship it back. It's no big deal, but I'm going to give it a go and see how it goes. And one of the other books that I got from the library's Overdrive is The Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldovsky. I probably butchered that. But anyway, this one is like a young adult thriller, I think, or slash horror maybe. I don't know exactly. It's about a club called the Mary Shelley Club, and they are like obsessed with like horror and pranking things and doing all these kind of elaborate pranks, trying to instill like real fear into people and things like that. Kind of like probably based on like movies and stuff like that. And Rachel, she accidentally gets involved with a prank, and now she's got all these enemies at the school. She's at a prep school, and she's not a prep school person. She's like one of the 2 that's on scholarship there, and so she doesn't fit in with the rich people anyway, and now she's made enemies of like the main lady who runs the school, kind of. You know, you always got that one like queen bee or whatever. And yeah, so she is curious about this pranking club. She figures out about these pranks. She's the one, actually, she accidentally sees somebody doing like who she thought did the prank, and so she starts kind of in talking to them, trying to get more information out of them, but they're not supposed to tell because it's a secret club. But I'm like 19% in, where she is really wanting into this like club, because she thinks that's like her kind of people. And so we'll see what happens when she gets in there, if she's going to wish that she never got in there or not. I don't know. But I know it's something about some pranks go too far, they escalate too much, and something happens. But that's about all I know. And so far it's okay. Then I am listening to The Family Plot by Megan Collins, I believe. And this one is a thriller as well. And this one is about a very strange family. And they're all named after victims of like murders. You've got Dahlia and Tate and Charlie and Andy. And Andy was the father, Lizzie Borden's father. And Charlie is for the Charles Lindbergh thing. And you've got Sharon Tate. So you got that from Tate. And then you've got like I think it's like the Black Dahlia murders or something. There was the Dahlia thing. And they learned all about all these murders and stuff. Like, that was like their education. Their mother like raised them really strangely. And so they've got like this eccentric education about murders and murderers and all these things. There was also some murders that happened in their town. I can't remember what they're called. The Black something, but Blackstone or Black... Anyway. And they're grown up now. One of them, they thought run away a long time ago, like when he was around 15, 16, something like that. And come to find out, whenever they move, they all come back because their father is dead and they're burying him. And they have a family plot there on their property where all their like family members and stuff had died, their grandparents and all that. They have their own like cemetery. And in their father's plot, the guy that was digging the hole up, that's kind of like their like caretaker, like groundskeeper, I guess, or whatever, he was digging the hole and he found a body in the hole. Well, or bones from the body, because it's been there a while. And then they find out that was Andy. So, something happened to Andy a long time ago and nobody ever knew about it. They just thought he ran away. And so, Dahlia is really close to Andy because they were twins. And so, she is trying to figure out what happened to Andy. And I am over halfway through it. I can't remember exactly where I'm at. But it's different. And I suspect everybody. I have a couple of ideas of who might have been like the ones committing the murder like back then, and I think that maybe Andy saw something he wasn't supposed to, but I don't know. Everybody seems suspicious, from all the children that they're grown up now, like Charlie and Tate, I would say are like in like maybe their 30s or something, because I think Dahlia is probably in her 20s. Because there's a big span in between Charlie and Tate and Andy and Dahlia. They're like, I don't know, like 10 years in between them. So, yeah. And, you know, Charlie's keeping a secret, and so is Tate. And Tate's very strange. She makes, like, these makes these Instagram photos, and she, like, makes, like, sculptures and things of like these murders and everything. She's really strange. And like I said, but they had a really strange upbringing, so I mean, you gotta expect them to not have grown up, you know, and be healthy. They're a little weird, but so far it's okay. I'm really curious to see what happened, who did what, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping to finish that. If not tonight, then maybe tomorrow. But yeah, that's that. And I am also working on Spy School at Sea by Stuart Gibbs. I usually listen to this, but I couldn't find an audiobook of this one yet. And I don't know if it's just not out yet, because this is the newest one. It came out in August. So they just might not have an audio yet. So I am reading it. And so it's a little different reading it. And I'm only like, I'm on chapter 3. So it's kind of like the book by my bed that I like grab and like read a couple chapters or something before I go to bed. Or something like that. So I got that. And I'm hoping to start this week. So probably when I get done with the family plot, I will start listening to this one because I do have an audiobook for this one. So Reliquary by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. And it's the second book in the Pendergast series. I read Relic last month and I super enjoyed it, so I'm wanting to get to the second one. And so I'm excited about this one, and I really, really want to get started on it, but I do need to finish the one audiobook before I get going on another one. I do it, but I don't want to. Like, I'll have like a whole bunch of audios going at once, but I do like to try to limit the amount of audiobooks I have going at one time. So we'll try to get through the family plot before I start this one. Hello everybody, it's like Tuesday around 11 or something like that, and I have come up the lane and I'm going to break this down into like some kindling for fires and stuff. I have a wagon and I'm going to fill it up and then walk it back down there. I figured it would make some good kindling, so that's what I'm gonna do. While I'm doing that, I'm going to be listening to All Systems Red by Martha Wells, I think. It's like 3 hours, and this week on the Bookish Bryants, they're doing the robots for their New World November, and so that's how I'm going to participate. I'm going to do one book for that, and I've always been curious about it. I'm not really a big sci-fi person, so we'll see how it goes. I finished the family plot last night, and so I will update you on what I thought about that later. But for now, this is what I'm doing. It's, I don't know, a little after 6 on a Tuesday night. And I finished the family plot by Megan Collins last night, and I just didn't update. So I thought I would go ahead and do that now. And I don't know, I kind of liked it, but I didn't love it. I would say it's probably like 3.5. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but I don't think it is actually 4 stars for me. It's more like 3.5. But I did like it a little bit more to not give it like a 3 star. So it's about a messed up family. Like, the family dynamics is like totally messed up. It just felt so much like a plot line that I've read before somewhere, and I don't know if it's just because I just read too many or something like that, but it was really easy to guess like one of the plot lines in the story, like I guess maybe was supposed to be a little bit of a twist, but I had it pretty much pegged from the beginning, so that wasn't like no big surprise. But the big, like, kind of surprise, I mean, the person was on, like, my suspect list, but still at the same time, I really thought it was going to be this other person, was, who killed Andy. That was the one that got me with the twist and everything. But then, I don't know, the ending was just strange, too. How they wrapped things up, I don't know. And it's hard to say without, spoilers. But yeah, so I mean, it was okay. Just wasn't like the best, but it was okay. I can see some people liking it, and I can see probably why some people wouldn't. I mean, the characters weren't really developed like great or anything, but it was just interesting. I think I was just more interested in how messed up this family was. It was just crazy. Anyway, and then today, while I was out collecting like branches and stuff like that, little branches and things that were dead, so that I could kind of snap and break and make some kindling, I decided to listen to All Systems Red by Martha Wells, and then I finished it while I was just in here messing around on my computer, because it was only a 3-hour audiobook. Now here's the thing. I just think when it comes to sci-fi, I don't get it in my head very well. I don't know if it's just, I don't know, just sci-fi and me doesn't get along. I liked it well enough, but at the same time, I feel like I can't tell you what it's about really, except for it was about this. Uh, I think that's like a security, like part cyborg, robot-y type thing of some sort. And it was a security bot, and uh, at the beginning, like something happens, and he figures out either gets hacked or he figures out how to shut off some of his stuff. And he's a murder bot, and that's what they're made for. They're made to assassinate people, like murder, and you can hire them, you can everything. But this guy's like hired for like security for these people, and like he knows that he shouldn't let them know that he knows these other things. So it's kind of like he's intelligent enough to think for himself and things. It's not like just an actual robot, but I don't know. I It was a novella, and I thought the murder bot guy the thing was cool, but at the end of the audiobook, I just feel like I can't say what it was about. I just I don't know. And I felt that way whenever I read Dune. Like there were parts of it I enjoyed and I kind of understood it then, but when it comes to like talking about what it's about, it just I can't do it. I don't it just does not it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. So I don't know. I just don't think sci-fi is my jam. I don't Sci-fi in me just doesn't click. But hey, I read it because I thought since it's called Murderbot that it was supposed to be about like a robot, but then when I was looking at like reviews and stuff, they called it like a cyborg and something else, like it was a cross between. And so then I'm like, so maybe it's not a robot. So now I read it for the New World's November because Bookish Bryant's was doing that, and this week was robot. So now I'm not even sure if it counts as a robot. But I read it for that, and so that's what it's going to be read for. Anyway, so I read it. It's done. And so that's that, and I just thought I would pop in and let you know that I finished a couple of things and kind of what I thought about them. Did I even say what I thought about what I rated? I gave Murderbot 3 stars. I mean, it was okay. It was quick. Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, around 2 o'clock, I guess. And I thought I would update you a little bit. I did finish. Oh, okay. A Wolf in Duke's Clothing by Susanna Allen, I believe. I will put the picture here. And wasn't the best paranormal romance I've ever read, and it wasn't the best paranormal historical book I've ever read. I feel like the author needs to read more paranormal romances, maybe especially in like the historical genre, because that one was just, it was really boring. And like there was no romance, hardly at all. I mean, like nothing until like the very end. And then it was just like, okay. But I mean, like there was no like sexual tension, no nothing, no like there was some fun banter, but it just didn't really feel like a romance, honestly. Um, yeah, but I did notice that it looks like this might be the author's first uh, paranormal series, so I'm thinking maybe she just needs to brush up a little bit more on it. Um, it felt like maybe a self-published or an indie-published book, so I was surprised to see that it was published by Sourcebook Casablanca because Usually I enjoy the books that I get from there, but I just didn't really like this one very well, and I give it 2 stars. There's that. But, it was a genre change from the books that I had been reading and everything. And it was okay. And I buddy read it with Bev from the Killing Time with Cozy's Discord, and so it was fun. We had fun kind of, talking about it. It was fun. So I am still reading Good Neighbors by Sarah Langan, and I'm about 34% into this. And all I can really say about this book here, it's a thriller. It's not really thrilling, but it's a thriller. And it's messed up. These people in this neighborhood, they're just messed up. You can just tell that this one lady is totally messed up, and I can see how her daughter is like extremely. She's like a byproduct of her mother, and she is screwed up, and kind of felt bad for her. But yeah, it's weird. That's about all I got to say. It's weird. I am more enjoying the Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldovasky. I don't know if I said that right. But yeah, this one, I think if you like horror movies and you like the cheesiness of horror movies, that you might think this was kind of fun. Because a lot of what it is this girl Rachel, she gets into this club, and there's only like 4 other people in this club, and what they do is they prank people, and they try to instill real fear from like what a horror movie would, so if you have like your favorite horror trope, then you might try doing that in real life and see if you can scare somebody. And you usually have somebody in mind, like in the one, Thayer, he wanted to get back at this guy. I think his name was Trevor, because he has bullied him since like day one, like when they were like little kids, and he knows he's afraid of clowns, like total afraid of clowns. So that was his thing. He wanted. They have the contest, and whoever can get the best fear out of somebody, they take votes and stuff, wins the contest, and each of them get a chance to try. And so Thayer was the one that was trying the first. And so yeah, so one of the guys dressed up as a clown. Everybody takes part in the prank. And yeah, so it was pretty funny. I mean, I felt bad for the guy, but he probably deserved it, because like everybody said he's kind of like a horrible person. But it was kind of funny. But then they meet up all the time, and they watch horror movies, and they talk about horror movies. They discuss who's the best villain, who's the worst villain, what's the best tropes, and stuff like that. So I would think for some people that might not be interesting. But if you really like horror movies, then I think you'll probably like this. I don't know, about 45% into it, somewhere around there. And I'm liking it so far, and I'm kind of curious to see where it's going to go and to see what happens, because I know it's supposed to be about when a prank goes too far. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen. Definitely liking this one more than The Good Neighbors. So, my hair is all windblown. It is windy out, and I was outside, and yeah. Anyway, so I tried Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff on audio, because that's how I had it. And I have to say, I think I need the actual book. I just don't think that is one that I can do on audiobook and like gain what I need to gain out of it, because it's a little heavier kind of storyline and plot, and like a lot of info and info dumpy and things like that. I mean, the book's like this thick. If you've seen anybody hold up the book, it's like really thick. It's 26 or 27 hours on audiobook. I love the narrator, and so I think I'm hoping maybe that my like actual library, my physical library, will maybe get the book, and then I could check it out and read it, and then get the audio, because it would be probably better for me to listen to it and read along with it. So I am going to put that one to the side and let it go back on overdrive. There's like 5 people waiting on it, and just let them do that because, yeah, I just know for me it wasn't going to work on audiobook. Even though the narrator was great, I just think I'm going to need to physically look at it while I was listening to it instead of just trying to listen to it. So I started a novel murder by Elizabeth Penny. It's the first book in the Castleton Manor series or something like that. And I was curious about it. Some people in the Killing Time with Cozies had talked about it, and I had it on Hoopla, and I think it's about to go back on my Hoopla, so I thought I would just go ahead and throw it in really quick while I was outside breaking sticks, because like all those sticks you've seen me get yesterday and everything that I collected, I was breaking them into smaller pieces and putting them in my boxes to take into the house to have for kindling. So I was listening to that while I was out there doing that, and so far it's not bad. I can't remember. I think the main character's name was Faith or something like that. But anyway, she's new to this job at a library, and she's got her cat Watson, and she's supposed to do a lecture on like Sherlock Holmes and things like that. And then she was in the manor, and like she lost her cat or something, and then it seems like there's like a little bit of a POV from the cat. Like you get, at least you get the cat's thoughts a little bit, which I thought was kind of strange. But like he gets stuck in, because there's like these passageways because it's an old manor, and he got stuck in there and he couldn't find his way out, and he's like, uh-oh, this isn't good. But then he's also like, something smells bad in here. and lo and behold, whenever they do get him out of there and everything, they find the body of the lady that was supposed to have had Faith's job before or whatever. So so far it's been okay. I think it's like less than 7 hours on audiobook, and so I've already like an hour or so into it, so it's not too bad. So I'm listening to that, and then I think I'm going to start Reliquary by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. I keep saying that I'm going to start it, and I haven't started it yet, and I really, really want to. And so I'm going to be working here on my Goodreads. I'm trying to revamp my Goodreads, and I'm also trying to see how many series and things that I have actually started like throughout the years. So I'm going to my to reads section and looking through all the like series that I have on there that I've read, and if I haven't read past like book 1, then I'm thinking, do I really want to go past book 1 if it's been really a long time? Or do I want to reread book 1 and then start? So if it was a series that I really was enjoying and it just fell by the wayside, because that happens a lot, then I'm marking it as one and I'm making a list, and like I've got like over like 50 series already, and I'm not even near done with my thing. So I know there's going to be a ton of series on there, but that's something I want to work with next year, I think, is to read some of these series that I had already started. If I've read a couple of books, and I found that there's like some of them, like I only need to read one book and I'd been finished with the series, or a couple of books and I'd have been finished with the series. Like, what happened? Why did I just drop off? But I do that, it's kind of like that thing. You like something, but then you see something over here and it's nice, new, and shiny, and you want to read it, and you put that down, and then that's what happens. And that happens to me a lot. My memory is not good at remembering series that I have started to look for the new book in the series. Unless it's a series that's like high on my list of favorites, do I remember. And even sometimes then I forget. So that is what I'm working on currently. And I got this in the mail yesterday, so I thought I would show it to you. And this is Fearless by Mandy Gonzalez. Some people may know the name Mandy Gonzalez because she is a Broadway star, I believe. I think it says, let's see, she is currently starring in the mega hit Hamilton as Angelica Schuler, and it says that she's also belted out the signature song Defying Gravity, so I know that song off of things. But anyway, yeah, so this is a book about a young girl who gets to be the understudy in a Broadway musical. So her and her grandma move, is it to they move to New York City so that she can live out her dream. She's the understudy, but there are some things that are happening there, and there's like, they think it's like a curse that plagues this theater. And so the back, somebody has said on here, it says, a Broadway musical, a haunted theater, and a mystery to solve, and a cast of brilliant young actors. What's not to adore? So sounds like it'll be cool. It's kind of about her finding her feet and becoming fearless. So it's really cool. It looks really cute. And I got this from Simon & Schuster. So thank you to Simon & Schuster. And I can't wait to get into this one and give it a try. And I will talk to y'all later whenever I've got something important to say. Hi everybody, it's Friday afternoon sometime, and I just thought I would update you a little bit. I finished the Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldovsky. Not sure about it, but we'll go with it. And excuse me. And I really like this one. I finished it last night, and it's kind of a, I don't know, a young adult thriller horror, maybe. It depends on who's reading it, what they might classify it as. But it has all the fun horror tropey type things going on. Like, it's about a club, a secret club, and Rachel had something happen to her in like the prologue, and after that accident, she thinks that maybe if she watches a lot of horror movies and things like that, that she can get over being afraid, over fear and everything. So she becomes like very versed in horror movies, and she finds out that there's this club, and she thinks, that she knows some of the people that might be in it that do these pranks, and sort of gets herself into the club. And they're just a bunch of prep kids in this, because it's from Manchester Prep. And the only thing is like, I think Freddie and Rachel, was the only two that they were there like more on scholarship or whatever. And but yeah, they have a lot in common because they like horror movies, so they watch horror movies together. They talk about and debate like has the best villain, all them kind of things. And so it was kind of fun just because like it had all that, but it also has a very campy Scream / I Know What You Did Last Summer vibe to it, to me, and everything, if you've ever watched like those movies. And yeah, so some of the pranks go wrong, and she's got to try to figure out what's happening. And like every time one of them initiates a prank, it seems like it escalates and gets worse. That maybe there's somebody infiltrating their club and making things go bad or wrong and stuff like that. And it just escalates until it gets out of hand. And so, yeah, it kind of had one of that thing going on. You were really, it was really tough to figure out who might be behind things and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed it. And I think if you like that kind of stuff, like the horror movie tropes and things like that, that you might like this one, because the fear pranks that they do is based on kind of like horror movies and stuff like that. So it was kind of fun. Anyway, moving on. Oh, I forgot to say that I gave it 4 stars. So I am sad to say I think I'm going to DNF The Good Neighbor by Sarah Langan. I just don't care. It's kind of slow. I got 42% in, so I gave it a good try. I am curious on like who gets murdered and who and everything, because I know there are some murders going to happen, but I'm not invested enough to really care. I think maybe I'll skip to the end and see what happens. I don't know. But yeah, it's just really boring. It's very strange and everything. Like the neighbors are weird and it's just kind of strange, but not in a good way. At least to me. I just got bored. I'm just like, come on already, dude. Something happened. Something fun happened. Something exciting happened. It's supposed to be a thriller, but it wasn't very thrilling, and I don't really care for slow-paced thrillers. I know a lot of people do, and so then those are the people that would probably like this. But if you like a fast-paced thriller, then you're not going to like this. But yeah, so I think I'm going to move on from this one. It is a library book anyway, so I can just send it back because I think maybe somebody's waiting on it, and they can have it. And moving on to something that looks fun, Malamander by Thomas Taylor. This is the first book in the, is it Eerie on the Sea? Yeah, Eerie on the Sea series, and I have had my eye on this one for a while, but none of my libraries had it, and I finally got, I believe, Miami-Dade, because you can do an out-of-state thing with that, and they had it, and I was so excited. So this, I don't know exactly what's going on. I just know it's kind of like a fantasy adventure, and I've seen a lot of people talk about it that read middle grade, and I know that it's about a place, and that's about it. It's got some cool illustrations in it. Oh, and there's a map. I can use that for my map prompt on Believe-a-thon if I don't get to the other one. But like, see, it's got some fun illustrations. So yeah, really, really good illustrations. I really like them. But yeah, I'm only like 4% into it, so I don't really have like the gist of like exactly what's going to happen or what's going on. But I do know that it was one of the books that I was really, really wanting to get to this month. So I'm glad that I moving on from the one and just going to this one, because this one just, I feel like I'm gonna like this one. It's a feeling. So I'm hoping. And so I'm also going to start Mastermind by Andrew Mayne. This is the first book in a Theo Cray and Jessica Blackwood thriller. So hopefully I have better luck with this thriller. Since it's a series, I'm hoping that it's going to be faster paced. This one, I'm only 8% into it, and at the very beginning, like, a lady was trying to take pictures of some people that had like Manhattan and stuff in the background, like the city lights and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, there were some big pops and bangs, sounded like fireworks, and the city just goes dark. And so there's like a fog over Manhattan. It's like Manhattan just like disappeared. And so they're bringing in this FBI specialist, I think, which is, I believe, Jessica Blackwood. She's used to be out in the field, but now she teaches classes, but they need her expertise on something. I don't know who Theo Cray is yet because I haven't met him, but I'm only like 8% into it, so far it's okay. But like I said, only 8%, so not really, can't really tell how it's going to be from like that. So hopefully it's going to be good. I don't know if I've mentioned, but I am also currently listening to A Novel Murder by Elizabeth Penny. I'll put it up here. It was a book that I had on Hoopla, and it's going to go back soon, so I wanted to hurry up and get it finished. So I will probably be working on that today for the rest of the day. Hey, so it is Saturday night, and I finished another book, so I wanted to come on here and finish out this vlog and tell you about the book that I finished, and then do a little bit of a wrap-up and everything. So I finished Malamander by Thomas Taylor, and it's illustrated by Tom Booth, and I really, really liked Tom Booth's illustrations. They were like really cool. I like a good black and white illustration, and his were really good. They had really good shading and everything, and I really liked them. And I can show you one. Like, I mean, it's really good. and like those, they're like super cool. Okay, so Malamander is about Herbie Lemon, and he is a lost and founder that works at the Grand Nautilus Hotel, and it's in a place called Erie by the Sea. And a lost and founder is a guy who helps people find things when they lose it. So yeah, so he's been working there since he was like super small, because he was kind of found and they kind of took him in, and so they gave him that job as a lost and founder, and he's been in that job since he was, I think, 5 years old, and so he's like, I think 11 or something like that in this, and so he's been doing it a while. And one day this young lady climbs up through the window, and she's needing some help, and her name is Violet Parma, and she is so sure that Herbie is going to be able to help her, because she has lost something and she's wanting to find it. She is lost and she needs to find her parents, and her parents went away like when she was a baby, and she didn't know what happened to them, and she's trying to figure out what happened to them. And he's like, I'm not a detective, you know. He goes, I find lost things, not lost people. And she's like, but I just know you can help me. And anyway, he gets wrapped up in her adventure, whether he wanted to or not. And they end up finding out that there is a legend about this Malamander. And then they find out that maybe her father was a writer, and he was writing about the Malamander, and everything that trying to find them is leading them to like the Malamander and everything. And then there's this other writer, and his name was Sebastian Eel, and he was a nasty guy, and he said that the Malamander wasn't real, but I think he just said that because he was trying to find the Malamander egg. And so evidently finding the egg can grant you wishes and stuff like that. And so they're up against them trying to figure out what happened to her parents and everything. She kind of wants to, just know exactly what happened. And there's all these other characters in it, and it's really fun. Yeah, my only criticism would probably be how abrupt the ending was, because like it did wrap up like the one storyline, but it kind of sends it into like, there's going to be another story, another adventure, but it was just so like abrupt. Like it just like something happened and then the end. And it was like, what? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I give 4 stars. I thought it was a really cute middle grade adventure kind of fantasy story, and I don't know, the cover is just so pretty. So yeah, so that ends all the books that I read this week. I believe I read 6 books. I think, all in all. So it's not bad week. One of them was not really an intentional one. It was one that I seen that I had out on Hoopla, and it was about to go back, and so I wanted to hurry up and get it listened to before it went back. But I listened to The Family Plot by Megan Collins, and I thought this was pretty decent thriller. I gave it 3.5, maybe rounded up to 4 stars. It was enjoyable. Really messed up weird family, and I guessed one of the kind of like the plots, but the other twist I didn't, so it was pretty decent. And so another one that I listened to was All Systems Red by Martha Wells, and it was okay, but I guess I'm finding out that I'm just not a sci-fi person. It's not that I don't like enjoy the story. I just don't keep it in my head. Like my brain don't compute. My brain is not made for sci-fi. That's all I can say. But I give it a try. Then I read The Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldovasky. Maybe that's right. I don't know. One of the times I'm going to get it right, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, this was a young adult thriller horror, and I enjoyed it. If you like horror and you like the kind of teen tropes from like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and things like that, and trivia about horror movies and things like that, and a club that's kind of based around that, and then they do these pranks and they escalates and gets out of hand and stuff like that. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Then the next one was A Novel Murder by Elizabeth Penny, and it's the first book in the Castleton Manor Library. I think that's what it's called. And this one has Faith. She's a new librarian at this place, and she has this cat named Watson. She's one of the ladies he works with is really crabby, and they're having these events at the, I guess, hosted by the library, and there's a Sherlock Holmes one, and she's supposed to give like this speech about Sherlock Holmes, and they actually are supposed to have a first edition type signed by the author copy of the first Sherlock book. But when she takes it out of the case, using the gloves and everything, she just says she just knows it feels different. It doesn't feel right, and she thinks it's a copy. And so she doesn't want to say anything about it, and she just goes on with her speech. But then she takes it, she kind of sneaks it out. She wants to take it to a book dealer and see if they can tell if it's real or fake and everything. And that kind of escalates a few things. And then her cat gets stuck. Like there's these like secret places, and he gets stuck in one. So she finds him in there, and while she also finds a dead body in there, and it happens to be the person that had her job before, and they thought that she just like left, but she didn't. and now the police think they think that Faith had something to do with it because maybe she wanted her job, but Faith's like, I don't even know the lady. So of course she's gonna have to investigate and try to figure out what happened. And I liked it. I did enjoy it. I'm a little curious about this series because there's like 4 or 5 different authors that do this series. When I was looking through it, like Elizabeth Penny does another book later on, but then like there's like 3 more authors, and it's like she starts it, and then there's like 3 or 4 more authors, and then she does another one, and then those authors do it. It's a little weird having a series like that because everybody's going to have a different writing style and a different way of thinking about things. So I'm a little curious, but I'm a little worried at the same time. But I will try book 2 to see what happens. And then of course I read Malamander that I just told you about. So that's all of the books that I read. Oh, I gave Novel Murder 4 stars. I forgot to say that. I did have one fail. I gave up on The Good Neighbor by Sarah Langdon. It was a thriller that wasn't thrilling. I didn't like any of the characters. It just wasn't for me. I can see some people liking it. I like my friend. She enjoyed it and everything, but she also thought I wouldn't like it, and she was right. But I did give it a try. So there's that. And so yeah, so that's how my week has been. Have you read any of these books? Are there any of these books that look interesting and you might want to try them? Let me know. Chat down in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you all back in the next video. Bye.